Hi everybody. Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we delve into the explosive aftermath and simmering new conspiracies set to erupt in Port Charles on Thursday, June 12th. The city is a powder keg of secrets and ultimatums, and several fuses are about to be lit, promising an episode filled with confrontation and life-altering decisions. A tale of two fathers, a custody war reaches its boiling point. The bitter custody feud between Michael Corinthos and Drew Cain is set to escalate into an all-out war, with both men convinced that victory is not just possible, but imminent. Their confidence, however, stems from wildly different strategies, setting the stage for a dramatic collision that will ripple through the Corinthos, Quartermain, and Cain families. Michael's scorched earth strategy. In the wake of the devastating paternity reveal, a resolute Michael Corinthos declares his audacious endgame. Believing the court will rule in his favor, he convenes with his most trusted circle Carly Spencer, Jason Morgan, and even his estranged father. Sonny Corinthos to announce a plan that is both shocking and absolute. He reveals his intention to leave the country permanently with Wiley and Amelia, severing their ties to the tangled web of Port Charles drama once and for all. This isn't just a threat, it's a meticulously planned escape route from the chaos he believes is poisoning his children's lives. The reactions from his family are likely to be a mixture of shock and desperate pleading. Carly might understand his protective instincts, but Jason and Sonny will surely see this as an extreme, irreversible act that will create more wounds than it heals. The recent arrival of Daisy Gilmore Corinthos, his child with Sasha, and the casting of Rory Gibson as a new, more mature Michael, signals that the writers intend for him to stay. This makes his declaration even more fraught with tension, a desperate gambit from a man pushed to his absolute limit, who may find his victory comes at a cost he cannot bear to pay. Drew's confident game over. Simultaneously, Drew Cain, radiating an almost unnerving level of confidence, declares the battle all but won. In a conversation with a hopeful Willow and a deeply unsettled Nina Reeves, Drew asserts that Michael's secret fathering a child with Sashay the silver bullet that guarantees Willow will receive sole custody. To him, the matter is settled, the truth has come out, and the game is over. However, his triumphant stance completely overlooks the emotional carnage left in his wake. Nina, in particular, is far from celebratory. She sees through Drew's self-righteous facade to the calculated manipulation beneath. Pulling him aside for a private confrontation, she unleashes a torrent of controlled fury. She refuses to accept the convenient narrative that Wiley simply misunderstood his conversations with Drew. Nina accuses him directly of intentionally toying with a young boy's emotions, weaponizing Wiley's love for his mother to score points against Michael. More than that, she blasts him for his short-sightedness. In his zeal to win, Drew has utterly destroyed any fragile hope of a peaceful compromise, effectively torching the bridge that might have one day connected their fractured families. For Nina, this isn't a victory, it's a profound and devastating loss. The web of secrets, Curtis's desperate gambit. While the custody battle rages, another high-stakes drama is unfolding, centered around Curtis Ashford's increasingly desperate attempts to gain leverage. His actions are creating new, dangerous alliances and forcing those around him to confront their own loyalties. A conscience in crisis. The weight of a secret is pressing heavily on Kai Taylor. He seeks out Trina Robinson, his conscience compelling him to confess what he overheard at Curtis and Portia's home. He recounts the heated argument, detailing Curtis's shocking plot to track down and use a woman named Jacinda as a weapon against Drew. Kai is caught in an impossible position, turning to Trina for guidance on this ethical minefield. Trina is now burdened with this explosive knowledge. Her loyalty to her stepfather is pitted against her innate sense of right and wrong. And her decision on what to do with Kai's information could either save Curtis from himself or expose his scheme and shatter their family. An investigator for hire. Unaware that his secret is already compromised, Curtis doubles down on his risky plan. He summons the legendary private investigator Felicia Scorpio for a clandestine meeting. Wasting no time, Curtis officially offers to hire her, seeking to leverage her renowned investigative prowess for a single, urgent task: find Jacinda. He believes that locating this mystery woman is the key to neutralizing Drew once and for all. Felicia, always intrigued by a challenge and perhaps sensing the desperation behind Curtis's request, is poised to accept the job. And knowingly stepping into a situation far more complex and perilous than a simple missing person case. Schemes and support systems across town. Elsewhere in Port Charles, other residents are navigating their own personal and professional crises, setting traps and offering lifelines in equal measure. A predator's promise. The ever-opportunistic Martin Gray has Tracy Quartermain squarely in his sights. He approaches her with a smug, taunting demeanor, cryptically suggesting that she will require his unique legal services much sooner than she imagines. Behind his goading words lies a carefully constructed plan to restore his own financial standing, with the formidable Tracy at its very center. Martin is planting a seed of doubt, confident that whatever scheme he's concocting will soon have the inflappable Quartermain matriarch backed into a corner where he is her only way out. The long game. Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Jordan Ashford continues to play a dangerous game of her own. She is meticulously working to earn the trust of a shadowy figure named Jen Sidwell. Pushing him to trust her with a sensitive project, Jordan moves another piece on her chessboard. Every interaction is calculated, designed to reel Jen deeper into her trap. She is operating with precision and immense risk, knowing that one false move could expose her entire operation. A mind on the brink. At General Hospital, Dr. Portia Robinson is struggling to hold herself together. The immense stress of her crumbling marriage and Curtis's reckless behavior culminates in a severe emotional meltdown. Thankfully, her colleague Isaiah Gannon finds her in her moment of crisis. Offering a calm and supportive presence, Isaiah gently suggests that the pressure has become too much. He advises her to take a significant step back from her duties, perhaps a formal leave of absence, to focus on her mental well-being before she reaches a point of no return. His concern highlights the serious toll the ongoing drama is taking on Portia, both personally and professionally. Next, we delve into the electrifying return of a daytime television heavyweight, Daniel Goddard, and explore the intricate journey that brought him to Port Charles as the enigmatic and unsettling new professor, Henry Hank Dalton. A grand entrance and a chilling new presence. The hallowed halls of Port Charles University have a new, disquieting presence lurking within their corridors. Actor Daniel Goddard, a celebrated veteran of the soap opera world, has made a truly explosive debut on General Hospital, stepping into the shoes of Professor Henry Hank Dalton. From his first moments on screen, it became clear that Professor Dalton is no ordinary academic. There is a palpable intensity to his gaze, a deliberate cadence to his speech, and an unnerving aura that suggests his scholarly pursuits are merely a facade for a much darker, more complex agenda. Goddard masterfully imbues the character with a subtle creepiness that has left viewers both intrigued and deeply suspicious, signaling the arrival of a major new player on the Port Charles chessboard. In a recent, revealing interview with Women's World magazine, Goddard pulled back the curtain on his triumphant return to daytime drama, his challenging path to securing the role, and the profound differences he has discovered in this new creative home. The long road back, a test of faith and resilience. Daniel Goddard's return to the relentless pace of a daily soap opera comes after a significant hiatus. Fans will fondly remember his dramatic and lengthy tenure as Cain Ashby on The Young and the Restless, a role he inhabited for over a decade before his departure in late 2019. After stepping away, Goddard found himself navigating the unpredictable waters of the acting world once more. His journey to General Hospital was not a simple casting call but a trial by fire that tested his resolve. Earlier this year, an opportunity rose to audition for the role of the formidable mobster Jack Brennan, a part that was being recast after actor Charles Measure decided to exit the show. Goddard threw himself into the audition, pouring his years of experience and passion into the reading, hoping to make a powerful re-entry into the genre he knows so well. However, the industry is notoriously competitive, and the coveted role of Brennan ultimately went to the talented Chris McKenna. Goddard confessed that this initial rejection hit him hard. For a moment, the sting of disappointment triggered a profound sense of self-doubt. He reflected on his incredible 12-year run on a top-rated daytime drama and felt a fleeting, crushing wave of despair. Admitting that the rejection made him feel as if all that time and dedication had amounted to nothing, it was a raw, vulnerable moment where the artist questioned his place. Feeling as though he was back at square one, forced to prove his worth all over again in an endless cycle of auditions. But what felt like a definitive failure was, in reality, only a prelude to an unexpected and far more fitting opportunity. A twist of fate and a tailor-made role. Though he didn't land the part of Brennan, Goddard's audition had made an indelible impression on a key figure behind the scenes. His powerful reading resonated deeply with General Hospital's esteemed executive producer, Frank Valentini. In a twist worthy of a soap opera plotline, just as Goddard was processing the rejection, he received a direct call from Valentini himself. It wasn't a call of consolation, but one of creation. Valentini was so impressed by Goddard's talent and on-screen magnetism that he wanted to bring him into the GH family and offered to create an entirely new character specifically for him. And thus, the mysterious Professor Hank Dalton was born. For Goddard, this was an unprecedented and deeply affirming moment in his career. "I've never gotten an offer for anything," he admitted, highlighting the often unseen reality of an actor's life. Despite his fame and success, his professional journey has been defined by tenacity and persistence. "I've had to fight an uphill battle for every acting role I've ever gotten," he shared. This offer wasn't just a job, it was a validation of his craft and a chance for what he calls a do-over, a fresh start on a new canvas where he could build a character from the ground up, free from the history of his previous roles. The creation of Hank Dalton was a testament to Valentini's faith in his abilities, and the rest, as they say, is history in the making. A tale of two soaps, navigating different creative worlds. Stepping onto the General Hospital set meant entering a creative environment with a philosophy and methodology starkly different from what he had known for 12 years at The Young and the Restless. Goddard candidly discussed the fascinating contrasts between the two daytime titans. "One of the most significant adjustments has been the way scripts are distributed. At Y&R, actors receive the entire script for each episode, which includes the dialogue and actions for every character. This allows an actor to understand the full context of a scene, track every subplot, and comprehend the overarching narrative direction weeks in advance." Goddard would often read scripts for weeks ahead of filming, giving him a comprehensive roadmap for Cain Ashby's emotional and narrative journey. General Hospital operates on a completely different principle. Actors are given only their specific pagest scenes in which their character appears. This need-to-know approach fundamentally changes the acting process. Without knowing the full story, Goddard is forced to exist entirely in his character's immediate reality, discovering the plot twists and reacting to other characters' secrets in a way that mirrors real life. This method fosters a raw, spontaneous performance style, as the actor's surprise and confusion can be genuinely authentic. It is a thrilling but challenging creative tightrope walk, requiring an immense amount of trust in the writers and directors. For Goddard, it means navigating Port Charles with the same limited information as Professor Dalton, making his performance a compelling, in-the-moment experience for both himself and the audience. A surreal reunion, when on-screen worlds collide. The transition to a new set has also brought with it a few delightful and surreal encounters with familiar faces from his past. Wandering the backstage corridors of the GH studio, Goddard has reconnected with two legendary actors who once played a pivotal role in his Y&R life, Tristan Rogers and Jeannie Francis. In a fascinating twist of soap opera fate, Rogers and Francis, beloved in Port Charles as Robert Scorpio and Laura Collins, respectively, also portrayed his scheming on-screen parents, Colin and Genevieve Atkinson, on The Young and the Restless. Seeing them backstage was a heartwarming collision of two fictional universes. This reunion serves as a beautiful reminder of the tight-knit, interwoven nature of the daytime community, where actors often share deep histories that cross network lines. For Goddard, it was a comforting moment, finding friendly faces and a shared history in his new creative home, a bridge between his past and his promising future. The Dalton mystery. What secrets lie beneath? The ultimate question hanging in the air is, just who is Professor Henry Hank Dalton? General Hospital has masterfully introduced him as a puzzle box, and every interaction only adds another layer of intrigue to his character. His slightly unnerving demeanor and intense focus suggest that his academic credentials are a cover for a more clandestine purpose. Is he a new antagonist sent to destabilize one of Port Charles's powerful families? Perhaps he has a hidden connection to the city's criminal underworld, with ties to the Pikeman Group or a resurrected threat from the past. Or is his creepy vibe a red herring, masking a man on a personal quest for revenge or redemption? His position at PCU places him in the perfect orbit to influence the younger generation of characters like Trina, Jocelyn, and Adam, potentially manipulating them for his own unknown ends. Daniel Goddard's return is more than just a casting coup, it's the beginning of a gripping new mystery. And unraveling the enigma of Professor Dalton promises to be a must-watch journey for every General Hospital fan. Next, we will explore the impending implosion of Drew Cain's carefully constructed life, a life now balanced precariously on a foundation of secrets and vengeance. The architect of ruin, a hero's descent into darkness. Drew Cain, once a beacon of integrity and a celebrated hero in Port Charles, is now navigating a treacherous path of his own making. In recent months, a chilling transformation has taken place. The principled man who fought his way back from oblivion has been steadily replaced by a calculating strategist consumed by a thirst for retribution and control. His every move has become a high-stakes gamble, driven not by honor, but by a cold, simmering rage. This isn't mere recklessness, it is a deliberate and methodical descent into a moral abyss. His sophisticated campaign of psychological warfare against Michael Corinthos, his calculated manipulation of Willow Tate's emotions, and his shocking willingness to commit criminal acts have revealed a man utterly unrecognizable to those who once admired him. He has become the architect of his own potential ruin, meticulously laying the bricks of a prison of lies that is threatening to entomb him completely. The walls are closing in, and the question is no longer if his world will collapse, but when, and how devastating the fallout will be. A House of Cards, the inevitable collapse of career and love. Two of the most significant pillars in Drew's life, his burgeoning political career and his passionate romance with Willow, were poised to be the first casualties of his self-destructive crusade. His political ambitions are built on a carefully crafted public persona of a trustworthy veteran and dedicated community leader. The revelation that he orchestrated a criminal frame-up against the formidable Tracy Quartermaine would not just tarnish his image, it would shatter it into a million irreparable pieces. The scandal would be immediate and all-consuming, ending his career before it even truly begins. Simultaneously, his relationship with Willow, which he has pursued with single-minded intensity, rests on a similar foundation of deceit. He has positioned himself as her unwavering champion. But once she learns the full extent of his schemes, especially his willingness to frame an innocent woman and manipulate legal outcomes, your trust will be annihilated. For a woman like Willow, who has endured a lifetime of betrayal and lies, discovering that her new protector is just as duplicitous as those she fled will be an unforgivable breach, turning her deep affection into profound disillusionment. The ultimate price, a father's failure, and the fate of Scout. While the loss of his career and his love would be devastating, the most catastrophic consequence of Drew's actions could be the one he seems to have completely overlooked: losing custody of his own daughter, Scout Quartermaine. In a stunning display of hypocrisy, Drew has become so fixated on securing Willow's children and punishing Michael that he has relegated his own child to the periphery of his life. His focus has shifted entirely to revenge and romance, a dangerous obsession that has resulted in a profound form of parental neglect. He may provide a home and financial security, but he is failing to provide the stability, moral guidance, and undivided attention a young girl deserves. He is teaching her, by example, that vengeance is more important than family, and that deception is an acceptable tool. When the full, ugly truth of his recent actions comes to light, it will paint a damning portrait of a father who has unequivocally prioritized his own selfish vendettas over the well-being of his child, potentially giving his family legal grounds to declare him an unfit parent. The Brothers Keepers, a pact to protect their sister. Scout is not an island. She is part of a sprawling and fiercely protective family, and key members are undoubtedly watching Drew's downward spiral with growing alarm. At the forefront of this concern would be Jason Morgan and Dante Falconeri. Jason, whose entire existence is governed by a code of protecting children, would see Drew's instability as a direct threat to his niece's safety. Dante, as both a father and a seasoned detective, is trained to recognize dangerous behavior patterns. It is almost certain that these two men would form a quiet, unshakable pact. Their primary objective would not be to punish Drew, but to safeguard Scout by ensuring she remains under the same roof as her beloved older brothers, Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri. They understand that the bond between these siblings is a vital anchor in their tumultuous lives. The Morgan penthouse, a sanctuary of stability and unconditional love, stands in stark contrast to the chaotic and emotionally volatile environment Drew is cultivating. making it the most logical and loving safe harbor for Scout should the need arise. A matriarch's wrath, the Quartermaine lioness roars. While Monica Quartermaine has remained a quieter presence in Port Charles, her love for her family burns as fiercely as ever. The news of Drew's actions, particularly the calculated framing of her sister-in-law Tracy, would be the spark that ignites a firestorm of matriarchal fury. This is no longer just about Drew's personal choices, it is a direct assault on the integrity and honor of the Quartermaine name. Any lingering affection for the man she once considered a son would be eclipsed by her primal need to protect the innocent and restore order to her clan. Stirred from her quiet life at the manor, Monica could transform into the formidable Quartermaine lioness the family knows and respects. In her eyes, Drew's behavior would constitute a grave betrayal, and she would not hesitate to take decisive, drastic action. Her weapon of choice would be the law, and her target would be the one thing that would force Drew to confront the consequences of his actions, the custody of his daughter. The grandmother's gambit, a formidable legal alliance. Monica would not launch this battle alone. Her first and most crucial call would be to Alexis Davis, Scout's maternal grandmother and one of the sharpest legal minds in the state. This would be a conversation not just between a potential client and an attorney, but between two powerful grandmothers united by a single, desperate cause. Alexis, who has her own complex history with moral ambiguity, would immediately recognize the gravity of the situation. She would see the clear legal argument. A father who has engaged in criminal conspiracy, demonstrated a pattern of pathological lying, and prioritized a personal vendetta over his child's emotional stability is a risk. Together, Monica and Alexis would form a legal juggernaut. With Monica's financial resources and unwavering resolve, combined with Alexis's legal prowess and intimate knowledge of the family dynamics, they could file an emergency petition for custody that the courts would be forced to take very, very seriously. If Tracy could provide concrete proof of the frame-up, her testimony would be the final, devastating nail in Drew's coffin as a custodial parent. The final reckoning, a world turned to ash. The stage is set for a total and catastrophic implosion. When Drew's web of lies finally unravels, it will not be a slow leak but a tidal wave that washes away every pillar of his life. The headlines will scream, his political opponents will celebrate his downfall, and Willow will look at him with the cold finality of lost love. But the most gut-wrenching moment will be the final reckoning, the moment he is forced to face the true cost of his choices. Whether it's Monica Quartermaine, with a court order in her hand, or Jason Morgan, quietly standing in the doorway, the act of watching his daughter, Scout, be led away from him will be his ultimate defeat. It will be the silent, heartbreaking judgment that confirms he has lost not just his career, his love, and his family's trust, but also himself.